All the regulars are back in there tonight at Citi Field. Steven Strasburg leading the way. We'll see Syndergaard and Harvey and some Nats fans on the road. Yeah, let's go Nats indeed, trying to draw even in this weekend series. This is game number 154 tonight, so only 8 left. It's hard to believe. And if Matt Harvey was healthy, this would be one amazing matchup tonight.
Yeah, Noah Syndergaard, Matt Harvey, Steven Strasburg, some guys throwing some serious heat.
Steven Strasburg, we're going to break him down totally over the next several minutes, both in this segment and our segment to come. The guy's been unbelievable this year when healthy. 4-0. Look at the ERA. It's unbelievably low. Strikeouts to walks his last 5 starts. He's in the league leaders among all those categories, FP, and the Nats usually win when he's on the mound. It's amazing.
Yeah, and when you look at what he does with 2 strikes, look for the Met hitters to be aggressive tonight. Since the All-Star break, when he gets to 2 strikes, hitters have struck out 50% of the time. So you don't want to get to 2 strikes with Steven Strasburg.
Something to look forward to in our next segment. FP will break down his different pitches, how he throws them, when he throws them, how often he throws them. It'll be great. He's 14-4 in 26 starts. And Steven Strasburg, maybe no pitcher in baseball, can get you out in more ways than number 37. And we're in Queens. They call it Flushing, New York, home of Citi Field, where the Mets on the year 34-41. The Nats are 6-2 in this ballpark, and they have Steven Strasburg going tonight. So, FP, let's talk about the guys who throw the fastball the hardest in all of baseball.
Well, you see it right there. Steven Strasburg averaging almost 96 miles an hour on his fastball. But that's not the story with Steven. We're going to show you all of his pitches. The fastball sets up the other pitches. All right, Steven, me and you on a double play. Here we go. Fastball velocity. There it is. 253 average against. He's thrown 1,281 fastballs this year. Opponents are 73 for 288 against Steven Strasburg's heater. And there you get an example of the arm side run on the upper 90s heater. This is where it gets real good, folks. Check this out. The curveball, a 152 average against. He's thrown 572 curving baseballs this year. Opponents are 19 for 132. So just 19 hits all season long against the Steven Strasburg curveball on that Expo replay. You can kind of tell why. And how about the changeup? Devastating changeup, a power changeup, a 106 average against. He's thrown 473 of these this year. Opponents are 12 for 13 against the Strasburg changeup. So just 12 hits all year off the Steven Strasburg changeup. A combined average with the curveball and the change this year, 126, only 31 hits off the Steven Strasburg off-speed pitches this year. And the slider, he'll use it every now and then, second or third time around to keep him off the fastball. 314 average against, but you see the subtle movement there, just starts as a strike. Look, it's a fastball. No, it isn't. It's just breaking off the plate. So a pitch he's added last year to make it a 4-pitch arsenal. A lot of weapons there, Carp, and a guy that's maybe going to be in the conversation for Cy Young if he could win out. He'd be 16-4 with the ERA in the mid-2s.
65 days ago, turned 29 years of age, a true pitcher as well as a thrower. Noah Syndergaard, first time he pitches since April 30th against the Nats. He's going to pitch the first inning, and then Matt Harvey takes over in a very unusual situation. NC Bank for the achiever in you. Nice night. It's going to be in the low 80s for game time here. Nats against the Mets for the 18th time this year. So it's 81. Humidity way down, quite comfortable. Clear skies. And Noah Syndergaard is going to pitch the first inning. How many Nats will he face? We shall see. Daniel Murphy's in the number 3 spot. And he's hitting .340 on the road this year. Look what he's doing with runners in scoring position. Murph has had another great all-around season. .315 batting average, 4th highest in the league. So the regulars are back in there tonight. Andrew Stevenson is in right. And you get the feeling Jason Worth is playing left because there's going to be a new right fielder sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to get used to left field again. And there's Noah Syndergaard. First time he's taken the mound since he did against the Nats on April 30th. Remember that one? He went an inning in the 3rd. Left with a partial tear of his right lat muscle. His last start at Citi Field was on April 20th. So kind of a workout for Noah Syndergaard. Maybe a reward for all the hard work he's done to get back this year. Matt Harvey will back him up. The word is he's pitching 1 inning, and there's Matt Harvey getting loose behind him. So for the first time ever, Matt Harvey makes a relief appearance here at Citi Field after Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, Harvey was supposed to make his 100th start, but it's not going to work out quite that way.
There's the Mets defense. Nimmo, Lagares, Aoki, the outfield. Rosario Cabrera, left side. Reyes Smith, right side. Kevin Plawecki behind the plate.
So the Nats overall 11-6 against New York.
So how hard do you think Syndergaard's going to throw? This could be interesting.
Yeah.
Does he air it out? Does he open up the throttle? It's 1 inning. How's he feeling? Is he going to throw 102? Is he going to throw 96? This is what happened at Nats Park on April 30th. Remember, there was all the talk before the game. Should he get an MRI? Should he get it checked? He said, no, I don't want an MRI. I'm fine. He went out to the mound, and this happened in the 2nd inning.
And that was kind of unusual because he walked Bryce Harper, finished the first inning, and when Jason Worth lined out for the first out of the second, he came out after 38 pitches. So FP was kind of weird. He was out there hurting for a while before he actually came out of the game.
What was the story before the start? He looks noticeably skinnier.
7-10 first pitch officially.
I mean, he looked like he's lost 20 pounds.
Trey Turner 1 for 8 against him, and that ball hit down the right field line, and it'll push Nori Aoki over toward the line pretty well. Hit one out. If he throws like 5 pitches and gets a 1-2-3, I wonder what they'll do. We'll see. 22-year veteran behind the plate, Marty Foster. Chris Siegel at first, Mike Molinsky at second, the crew chief Mike Winters third base tonight. There's Jason Worth, who is 3 for 19 career against Noah Syndergaard, who overall on the year is 1-2 in 5 starts with a 3.29 ERA. 99.
Yep.
That ball hit hard, right back from where it came, and Jason Worth checks in his first swing of this series with a solid single.
A fastball right back where it came from. Jason Worth got a center cut heater right back up the middle. There goes a no-hitter. Jason Worth a little spread out in his stance, maybe to get that timing back. Barrels one up right over the head of Noah Syndergaard, and the boos you heard in the background were for Daniel Murphy.
One of the nicest guys we've ever known.
Yeah. Like I always say when we come here, those are I miss you.
Yeah. Murph 3 for 13 against Syndergaard, a walk, couple of RBIs, and all the Nats are going to hit the ball hard in the first inning. So that's pretty quick on only 5 pitches. Is that it? We're expecting Harvey, but first there's Strasburg. Lots of exit velocity on those swinging balls there.
Well, probably felt good just to be back out there. Terry Collins talking to his right-hander. I don't think you send him back out just for the simple reason he could have a 25-pitch second inning, and then what do? You bring in Matt Harvey in the middle of an inning, and you're all messed up.
Yeah, good call. As we look at the Mets lineup here, Ahmed Rosario this month, kid's starting to make some noise. So 333 in September over the longer haul. Last 30 games is hitting 295. One of their bright prospects, Aoki, was a big pain last night. Travis d'Arnaud, a couple of homers, but he's not in there tonight. Steven Strasburg, 16th start against the Mets. Career, he's 8-4 against them.
A 2.06 ERA and 13 road starts for Steven this year. Earned his 4th straight win last time out against the Dodgers in the Sunday night baseball game. Gave up just 1 run on 3 hits over 6. Struck out 8 Dodgers. So last 5 starts, 41 strikeouts, just 6 walks, and a 167 average against for Steven Strasburg.
Nori Aoki 1 for 4 career against him. Won a ball game here last night. 3 hits, a steal, a run, 2 batted in. .94 in there to start his night. Strasburg's ERA against the Mets in those 15 starts, 2.49. Guided for a base hit the other way. Left-handed batter not trying to do too much, and he's aboard for the 4th straight time.
The defense tonight for the Nats: Worth, Taylor, Stevenson, your outfield. Turner, Rendon left side, Murphy, Lynn right side. Matt Wieters behind the plate. Jason Worth in left field tonight. They're getting used to that, as Bob said earlier, so that that guy can play right field maybe as soon as Monday.
Yeah, we're hearing there's a hot prospect who's about to come up and plays the right field. Jose Reyes, 6 for his last 13. Aoki with a pretty good lead, and Reyes up there.
Hello there, Chipper. Good, you?
Reyes at 244 and 7 career hits in 24 at-bats against Strasburg. There's the changeup. So I got to ask you, you were a switch hitter, of course. You'd be batting lefty against this guy. How do you deal with this arsenal when you step in? Can you guess along with a guy that's got 4 great pitches, or are you just kind of looking for something to keyhole in a certain zone and have at it?
I'm hacking early. First fastball I see, like 4 pinch hits if you get 4 at bats against him. I'm not waiting around. I get, you know, the numbers. It's all I had to see is the numbers on the curveball and the change. 152 average against and a 106 average against. He's striking out over 50% of the hitters he's faced since the All-Star break when he gets to 2 strikes. So I'm not getting the 2 strikes. So hopefully I'm putting something into play early, and hopefully it finds a hole. Even that, I might even expand my strike zone right there just to get on the fastball, strike near strike, because I don't want to face a curveball or a changeup because they're devastating. It's a good question.
And a good answer. Thanks. 3-1. Murphy and Turner pinching up the middle. Got to be quick to turn 2 against this guy. And that is right on the chalk line. Hits the short corner, bounces out in front of Andrew Stevenson. So the Mets have a base hit and now a double.
Yeah, 24th double of the year for Reyes. Fastball. 95, supposed to be the other side of the plate. He yanked it to the inner half, and Reyes was on it. Pretty close to fair or foul. There's Siegel on it. Made the right call, and now you got to go early if you're Steven Strasburg.
As Jubal Cabrera is on a tear right now. Last 26 ball games, hitting .388. 3 career hits, a couple of homers against Steven. Modified shift on. Turner is still on the left side of second base, but Daniel Murphy's out in right field. Any ground ball to the right side makes it 1-0. Cabrera's driven in 53.
This is where you got to step on the gas early, and you know, sometimes with Steven, we've seen before, it takes him a minute to get into that rhythm.
87 on the off speed for a called strike. Mike Maddox studying his guy in the first inning here. Looking right at him from that third base dugout front on there. 1-1. And low and in, ball 2.
Like the changeup right here. See what they decide on.
On the hands, popping him up. Wieters for the first out.
I think he went slider on his hands. That's a pitch he usually saves till like the second, maybe even the third time around the lineup. He pulls it out here early to get the big out. Just a little subtle cut to it at the end, right off the hands. Good pitch, big first out.
Brandon Nimmo is next. Limited matchups here. 1 for 4 with a walk. Daniel Murphy comes forward to play heels to the grass on the right side. And there's the curveball.
Field back, first inning. Where as a pitcher you're forced to go to everything when maybe you're not ready to get to every pitch you have. You're hoping to cruise through a first inning, maybe show him a changeup here, some fastballs up, move your heater around, save some mystery for next time through. But right now he's going to the curve, the slider, the change, everything.
Fires the fastball at 97. Got the call inside edge.
Tried to run it back a little. Good frame by Matt Wieters.
Runners still at second and third, 1 out now. A 1-2 count. Steven Strasburg, 183rd career start. 83 and 45 career.
Oh, slippage there on the mound, maybe on the landing spot. He's doing some groundskeeping. Shook that calf out too after this pitch.
Two. Swing and a miss on 96. 2 down.
Another big out. So the Mets second, third, nobody out. A pop up to the catcher, then a heater in. To Brandon Nimmo, who couldn't find contact right there.
Kevin Plawecki catching duties tonight. In the air to center, Michael A.T. Strasburg got busy, didn't he? Foul out, strikeout, easy fly ball, scoreless first inning. 2-0 Mets, hits by Aoki and Reyes. And a kid named Harvey is going to take over here in the second inning. It's our Jiffy Lube pitching change. Yes, that's what it is. Choose a winning team for your vehicle. Jiffy Lube for value and convenience. JiffyLubeDC.com. So for Harvey, 18th start of the year. He's 5-6 with an ERA of over 6.5. The Nats have faced him a couple of times and hit him with authority. And here he is on his road back now.
Yeah, last start was on the 18th against the Marlins. Get this, 13-1 loss. In 4 innings, he gave up 7 runs on 12 hits. His last 2 starts, 7 1/3 inning, 12 runs on 19 hits and 6 walks. So they're trying to build up Matt Harvey's confidence. But I don't see how pitching after Noah Syndergaard is going to help that much.
Good call.
I mean, this was the guy, right? I mean, he was the Dark Knight, the savior. We fell in love with him in, I think, 12 when he had bases loaded, nobody out against the Nats here at Citi Field, and struck out 3, 4, and 5. And now he's caddying in respect for Noah Syndergaard.
Well, the whole thing with the Mets the last couple of years since their World Series has been so strange. The whole scenario with the pitchers unable to stay healthy. So Matt Harvey delivers a strike. Anthony Rendon, 9 for 21 career against him. Harvey, by the way, career against the Nats, 14 starts, 3-6 with a good ERA, 2.99. But that was the old Matt Harvey.
I remember the game. It was Strasburg versus Harvey, and the fans here at Citi Field were chanting, "Harvey's better." I still think there's some gas left in this tank, because if he gets back to the confidence level he had, the intangibles to me were better than the stuff.
28 years of age. Anthony Rendon sits safely 10 of his last 11 games. And that's a 2-hopper with a big room service hop at the end for Jose Reyes. Lyndon Taylor the next 2.
Adam Lynn last night, home run number 13 in the 3rd inning, a 3-run shot to right center field. Your helmet taken off by another blonde.
Here's Lynn batting .295 as a starter. Tonight's his 59th start with the Nats. 9 homers, 40 RBIs when he gets to take the field early. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. So the Nats are sitting on the franchise record, tied with last year, with Adam going deep for his 13th last night. 3-0. 0 for 3 career against Matt Harvey. Taking all the way.
Matt Harvey looks thinner to me too.
1-out walk. Nationals have their second base runner.
All right, you want to win a signed game-worn jersey that's all smelly, sticky, and dirty off the backs of the players, or even manager Dusty Baker. His will smell good, though. $5 jerseys off their backs. Raffle tickets are available at Nats Park during all remaining home games, with proceeds benefiting the Nats Dream Foundation. 26 winners will be drawn during the game on Sunday, last game of the year. Visit nationals.com/jersey. So after the final out, you get yourself a jersey. I like that a lot.
Great thing for the fans to take home, and a lot of them. So here's Michael A. 354 his last 13 games. Saw something upstairs, couldn't get over the top of it. 1-1. Well, what a crazy afternoon in the National League, huh? Brewers gave up a run in the top of the 10th. Travis Shaw walked off the Cubs with a 2-run shot. They were just about ready to fade out of contention, and boom, right back in it. 4-3 final. Off speed, Michael A spots it.
Crazy.
2-1.
Talking to some Mets people, Matt Harvey's been trying to find his slider. Fastball velocity's been nice. And there's a nice one right there at 88. Subtle break, late, tight. Hangs a left turn right at the end. Check it out. Looks like a fastball all the way.
Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast. 2-2 with Lind aboard, 1 out, second inning. That bounces. Nifty pickup by Kevin Plawecki.
A backhand stop, keeping the double play in order.
Taylor hits it hard, but right at Cabrera. 5-4-3 via Jose Reyes. And the Mets have a double play in each of the first 2 innings.
Bryce Harper making another positive step in his rehab from that significant bone bruise in his knee and that calf strain as well. Took part in another simulated game on the field here at Citi Field earlier on this afternoon. Dusty Baker watched Bryce take part in that sim game and said Bryce is getting close, looking like guys he could possibly get in some games sometime in the next few days. Ryan Zimmerman experiencing what Dusty called general soreness following a headfirst slide in Atlanta. Dusty says he's going to rest Zim through the rest of the series and then expects him to play in Philly and finish the season out from there. And an update on Sean Kelly, who left last night's game in somewhat concerning fashion, walking off the mound with an injury. Sean saying today he's not sure yet of the exact cause or issue that he's dealing with right now, but feels confident the UCL in his right elbow, the ligament he's twice had repaired in Tommy John surgeries, that ligament is good. He feels confident his elbow is okay. He's going to get extensive evaluations over the next few days. We'll monitor him from here.
All right, for the updates, thanks Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons, and Dominic Smith thought about digging for 2. Andrew Stevenson returns it in a hurry. And now the Mets are 3 for 6 to start the night.
Well, Steven battled to get out of the first inning with no damage, and this might be one of those nights where you just have to fight a little bit.
Number 7 hitter is the rookie Ahmed Rosario. A lot of bite on that curveball at 82. So the Mets' number 2 prospect just singled, and their number 1 prospect is in the batter's box. 39 ball games, 265. Low, 1-1. Strasburg first inning, 18 pitches, 11 strikes. Perfect location, outer edge with 97.
See that little movement right there before he gets on the rubber? Trying to slow it down, and I'm wondering if he's using the slope of the mound to stretch his calf between pitches.
90 downstairs. Second strikeout, first out here in the second.
Nasty. Wow. Turbo changeup.
I've heard pitchers in the past, mainly ex-pitchers, say that's an overpowering changeup. I never realized what that meant until I saw Steven Strasburg pitch in the major leagues.
I think he's stretching that calf every pitch. I'm guessing. It's based on what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Number 8 man is Juan Lagares. Had a nice game here last night. Couple of hits. One was a bunt. Stolen base, 2 runs. Made some good plays in center.
Baldessard checking things out. Try throwing higher right now. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in the ball game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Lagares 2 for 14. There it is, 6 strikeouts against Steven Strasburg. And Harvey on deck, 1 out here in the second. Swing and a miss on 90, boring in on him. Steven Strasburg. 2 impressive strikeouts here. Nissan will cast it.
Well, back to your question, Carp. This is exactly why I don't want to get to 2 strikes. The last 2 changeups, one to Rosario, one to Lagares for strike 3. The hard part is about the game plan I was talking about. It's 96. It's not just like he's throwing 90 to put it in play early. I mean, it's 96, 97. So that was kind of a simplification of the game plan. It's hard to put 97 into play.
Well, these guys have faced each other before as hitters and pitchers. Harvey 0 for 7, 5 strikeouts against Strasburg. Steven 2 for 8 against Matt. On the year, he's 2 for 31 with the run batted in. And the foul tip on 96 evens things up.
Even mess with off speed here. 3 fastballs in a row. Harvey was late on the second one he saw. See what Matt Wieters thinks.
Yeah, a lot of guys think they don't want to speed up the pitcher's bat with off speed. But he will. Nowhere near contact, though. So Dominic Smith, the base hit. Strasburg strikes out 3, and he's fanned 4 already. bumper coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile. So Aaron Judge, after being really rough out of the All-Star break, is hitting them again. Mark McGwire has the rookie record of 49. He's 3 away. Cody Bellinger has the National League rookie record, and he played his first 20 games of the year at AAA. 3 straight extra inning contests at Miller Park. The Cubs won Thursday, Friday. The Brewers, in a semi-miracle, got a 2-run homer by Travis Shaw today. There are your brackets. Nats lined up with the Cubs. Right now the Rockies still the front runner by about a game and a half over Milwaukee and St. Louis.
I have Middle Tennessee State coming out of that.
And by the way, the Cardinals just got 2 in the first at Pittsburgh. The Pirates are still batting and lead 7-2 in the bottom of the first inning. Here's Andrew Stevenson, top of the third for the Nats. Strasburg, 32 pitches, 21 strikes. Andrew, 9 for 53 in his first 35 big league games. An RBI, 6 walks, 18 strikeouts. Wieters on deck. 3-0. Harvey, 15 pitches, 7 strikes in that first inning of his. And the Nats have hit 2 of the hardest double play balls you will see already tonight. Andrew taking all the way, 3-1.
So the Cubs took the lead in the top of the 10th, and then the Brewers walked them off in the bottom.
Yep.
I just saw it on the big screen for the first time because that was when we were on our way to the ballpark today.
Yeah. Wade Davis gave that up.
That looked like mayhem on the walk-off by Shaw.
Might have saved their season. So Matt Wieters after the walk. Now the Pirates have an 8-run first inning. Matt at 225. Been seeing a lot of off-speed stuff. Struggling to get his groove back. Left-handed, 222 on the year. Say one thing about Matt Wieters, when he hits, it's productive. He's driven in 51 runs. Batting 7th or 8th nearly the entire season. Because of injuries here and there, he's been up a little higher than that, but mostly a bottom of the order thing. Stevenson diving back in. That was close.
Terry Collins saying, hold on. Little jab step there, trying to get back. He was going, obviously. Did they get him? Ooh.
They might challenge that.
I think we're going to some headset action. This could be a long 2 minutes for Andrew Stevenson. I don't know. Did they get me, Davey? What do you think? Listen to the crowd. They're showing it. Mixed reviews.
Yeah, they can't tell.
How come our headphones aren't that big?
I don't know, but I'm pretty glad of it.
See, is that you are?
I don't want heads. So you wear those for
no
3,000-4,000 hours a year.
Safe route. You look at it at home. We've been doing this all year. I want to look at the headphones. I think those would be good. The call was safe, so to overturn it, it's got to be.
I got news for you, my friend. Way back, 70s and 80s, we wore headsets like those. And by the end of the night, it was Excedrin time.
Okay, they're looking at it on the board. That was a great shot, by the way, and they're freeze framing it. But can you tell in the freeze frame they're showing the board if it's actually tagging him? Is my question. There's the freeze frame they're showing on the board, but is the glove on him, Carp? Can you tell?
Yeah, I can't tell.
There's Chelsea, New York. The replay review center. Watch, this guy's going to look at a close play at first with the Red Sox.
File footage, as they say on the 11 o'clock news.
Right down the road. I've been there. It's cool.
Runner is safe, and the Mets are out of challenges. And look at that expression. Terry Collins can't believe it. Second inning, bye-bye, or third inning now, bye-bye goes the challenge. But there are crew chief reviews and other things you can use later.
He said something and then unbelievable. Not sure the first word.
That call was 1 strike is the count to Matt Wieters. That's up and in 1-1. And by the way, this whole Terry Collins resigning thing.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
Found out today it was a writer who took some liberty with what she perceived to be a fact. The Mets have not made any announcement about expecting Terry Collins to retire, and he has not told the Mets that he is retiring.
I heard that today during batting practice. I was like, whoa.
Well, somebody writes it and then it becomes a big story, especially in New York. You said there are no whispers around here. You were right.
Reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Something like that.
Something like that. Jim Leland's still got a lot of pull with the Tigers, so I don't think he'll be out of a job for very long if he doesn't come back. He and Jim are real close.
Where's Brad Ausmus? Will be let go by the Tigers. That's been announced. They will not renew his contract.
I just think Terry Collins does a great job. I'm a big fan. The whole coaching staff for the Mets does a great job. They just had one of those years, man. And you're in this game long enough, you're going to have one of those years where everyone breaks down, everything goes wrong. It's called baseball. Not fun, but it happens.
Wieters on an off-speed pitch, skies one to right center. Norichka Aoki. First out, third inning. Strasburg coming up.
All right, it's a good one. Those beer steins are cool too, by the way. Still have mine from last year. First 20,000 fans, 21 and older, get that Oktoberfest beer stein, courtesy of Budweiser. Plus, you can enjoy the sights, sounds, tastes, and smells of Germany throughout the evening. Visit nationals.com/theme games today. I put smells in there by myself. Sauerkraut smells.
Strasburg looking to bunt a lead runner into scoring position. Steven has 4 sacrifices this year, 42 in his career. Lays off. It's a good take.
Question. You got a walk and a 2-0 count. Do you just give the Mets an out here? Do you take out of a bunt stance is my point.
Yeah. Well, I thought about it for a minute, and not based on what I just saw in that pitch, but I want Steven Strasburg ready to lay down some bunts in a tight postseason game. This is a great laboratory for pitchers to work on those little skills, FP, that might mean 90 feet and eventually a ball game here and there.
Yeah, those are huge in October. He's been real good at it throughout his career.
I mean, think about how often pitchers get a chance to do anything with the bat during postseason. It's pretty few and far between.
Well, the way they're crashing, Carpenter, you're absolutely right. Those are great points. The way they're crashing, you could pull back and hit it right by him. Cabrera's breathing down his neck. So is Smith at first.
My other thing as a skipper would be I don't want Steven Strasburg running the bases right now.
Would you have a lot of rules as a skipper?
No.
Just what?
Be on time.
Play hard.
Yeah, be on time and keep the beards reasonable.
Are you checking curfew?
If you're on my team, yes.
Well, I'll just pay all my fines right now then.
All right, big party. Bunts hit fairly hard to the pitcher. There is a play at second. And had Rosario not double pumped there a little bit, it might have been a 1-6-3 double play.
Well, that's about the worst thing that could happen. I've been watching him on the mound. The cat's been bothering him, and he just showed it to us 100% right there. Which I mean, he's got to be healthy in October. This is his first chance to really pitch deep into October. He's had one postseason start, and that calf's bothering him. Watch him run. And then watch him slow down, more importantly, past the bag.
Somebody hollered two, and that's where they threw it.
And he had to turn it on. I mean, it's just instinct right there.
And if Trey Turner hits a gapper here, oh boy.
But more importantly, Carp, is that he can't go back to the dugout and get a rub down before he goes back on the mound, because now he's standing out there. And I've been watching between innings. He and Paul Lassard have been going down the tunnel, and I think that's what he's doing, giving him a little calf rub.
Trey Turner, he'll go the short way. And folks, in the big picture, that might be better than Trey hitting a double somewhere. No score.
Do with Halloween, my favorite holiday. So come visit us at the Haunted Pep Rally, October 4th at the ballpark. Help the Nats get ready for the postseason. This free event to fans of all ages, featuring a zombie zone and trick-or-treating for kids. What about adults? I'm going to trick-or-treat. Visit nationals.com/zombie for details. Dan and I will be there, hanging out with you for a little bit, and we'll keep an eye on Steven Strasburg's haunted calf right now. Thing has been giving him trouble for a minute. Hopefully he's okay. That didn't look good running the first.
Maybe next time, if there's a batting situation, you just take three. So Dan Farova did answer the bullpen phone. We'll see what they have in mind eventually.
Well, this is him running the first. That doesn't look great. And we've been watching him stretch between pitches on the mound. And there's no need to mess with that, right?
It's Mike Maddox's guy. A lot of thoughts running through his head right now. So Strasburg back out there, top of the order for the Mets.
Is he walking up to Ghostbusters?
He is.
That's fantastic. That might be the best walk-up song of the year. Who thinks of that? It's phenomenal.
Well, it is almost Halloween. Come on.
Oh, that's great.
Up the middle, he has another hit. That's 5 in a row. Nori Aoki sending the Mets a message. Yeah, might have been traded from Houston to Toronto and then released. But thanks for signing me, and I might have some stuff in store for you next year. 35 years of age. Jose Reyes is next, and he's 34. And last night we talked about how well he's been playing lately. He's now on a 4-game hitting streak, 7 for his last 14.
StatCast powered by AWS. Let's check out Aoki lead, 10 feet, very short. 12's about average from what we've seen this year with StatCast. Give you a little insight to how far guys get off the base.
He's already ripped 1 bag. And as I mentioned earlier, went over 100 career this year. They list him at 5'7", 176. Jose Reyes went over 500 bags this year. Mets don't run much home run oriented offense, at least they were. Fewest steals in the league, tied with Colorado.
You know, if you were a movie guy and a baseball player, you could walk up to different theme songs from movies, like all year. Just pick a movie, say today it's going to be this. Game of Thrones right there. He walks up to it, and that's part. I'm talking about like classic movies. Walk up to the theme song.
One and two. Anthony Rendon. I know it's a slow song, but Trey Turner, Gone with the Wind. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to match. Just that's your thing.
One out, and as Asdrubal Cabrera, here comes 500 texts now, or tweets of movie walk-up songs. A bigger concern how Steven Strasburg's doing. He got an out. There's been pitching. I mean, he almost always pretty much off the stretch these days, but with runners on, a lot so far. Asdrubal Cabrera fouled out with runners at second and third, nobody out in the first. He was an unhappy man on his way back to the dugout. Strasburg could use one of those hard hit ground balls right at somebody that the Mets pitchers have enjoyed twice.
Good pitch.
Too far in, I heard Marty Foster say. What does Mercedes-Benz think?
Borderline. I think he called that earlier, and it was even further out. Of the box.
Rendon well off the line at third, with an outside pitch coming, but it's up. 2-1. So things moving a little slowly here early. We've seen Syndergaard pitch a scoreless first inning for the Mets. Matt Harvey take over, a couple of scoreless innings despite walking 2. And Steven Strasburg still has a 0 on the board despite giving up 4 hits already. Foul tip. Strike 2.
Nasty. Power changeup from Steven Strasburg. Watch the movement. It's unhittable. That's why there's only been 12 hits against that pitch all year.
Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. More Steven Strasburg numbers. So fewest runs allowed in an 8-start span. Look how far back this goes. 7 others with 4, but a lot of pitchers in the modern era getting that done. Since the All-Star break, he just basically gives up nothing every time he pitches. Trying to keep it like that right here. That started. Cabrera stopped. 3-2.
Did you hear Matt Wieder's appeal? He did just point. He said, yeah, he did. Can you hear it? I said, yeah, he did, trying to convince the umpires while appealing. Veteran move.
Three-two. Aoki, as expected, running in the off-speed, walks him. Cabrera, that is. 2 on, 1 out. Strasburg's first free pass of the night. Brandon Nimmo is next. That ball driven to left, and that's trouble. Slicing away from Jason Worth. Nats hope it bounces out, and it will. That'll keep the Mets on that batted ball to 1 run crossing the plate on Nimmo's 18th RBI, a ground rule double.
Yeah, slicing all the way from a worse hit. You knew that Jason Worth couldn't catch up to this one, or any left fielder for that matter, because of the big time slice this ball had. So bounces out, he catches a break momentarily as the Mets go up 1-0.
Wicked curveball to Kevin Plawecki. Hit a fly ball to center first time. Running fastball broke his bat, and he places it perfectly for a single that'll make it 3-0. About a 12 hopper through the infield.
Talk about a ground ball with eyes. Definition right here. Murphy sliding, Turner giving it a good go. Bat dies a hero, base hit, couple of RBIs, easy send. Some bad luck right there for Steven.
Runner at first, 1 out, 3 runs in. Dominic Smith. Clean single to right field. First time up. '94 tailing away.
If you're thinking double play, the curveball and the changeup usually produce the most ground balls for Steven.
Did he stop the bat? No. Bat went with the body, according to Mike Winters down at third. 1-2. Swing and a miss on 95, moving away. Strikeout number 5, 2 down.
Yeah, just a power fastball, a little arm side run to it. Dominic Smith late on the heater.
Ahmed Rosario struck out first time. Good hook outside edge. So it goes curveball, fastball. Runner on the move.
So, you know, watching Steven, even though he's pitching out of the stretch, it's a compact delivery, but the stride leg is the brakes. Watch when it hits. So now you have all your body weight and all your momentum on one leg. You see that? And that's the calf that's giving him trouble.
Yeah, for a while,
so
too.
When you come down the mound, number one, the mound's not level, obviously. It's got some slant in it going down toward home plate. And now all of your weight's on that part of your body for, you know, 100 times.
Good job of jamming the hitter. Turner on the run, and Murphy was past the bag. I don't know if Trey surprised Daniel by throwing to second with his momentum more geared toward first, but he also had a fast batter going down the line, too.
Yeah, I thought Trey might go to first, but Rosario could really run. And the quick jump throw to Daniel Murphy. May have surprised them.
Maybe. They've given Rosario a hit.
That's not a hit. That's a fielder's choice, isn't it?
It should have been an out somewhere. Juan Lagares, the number 8 hitter. Now the Mets have 4 hits and a walk in the inning. They used one big inning to win that game last night. Nats were ahead 6-1. They got 5 in the 5th. 5 hits, 4 singles, a homer. Oh, 2. Tapper. Strasburg forward to get it. Glove, throw, and Lind has it. That'll take care of the Mets in the 3rd, but they score 3 runs to go up 3-0.
between innings that we want to show you. There was a borderline pitch maybe to Asdrubal Cabrera that Steven thought was a strike. That home plate umpire Marty Foster said was in, so he's saying, I didn't think it was in. We could kind of hear their conversation a little bit. They kind of had a nice chat, friendly chat. He's going way back to Cabrera and trying to remind Marty Foster what pitch it was. Marty's going, who? And he's saying, yeah, I think it was that much in. He showed you. Now he's talking to Mike Maddox about that pitch. And maybe about where Trey Turner was playing on Brandon Nimmo on the broken bat single. I don't think he loved the shift and where his defense was playing, so that's how Chris Spire got involved in that conversation. So a lot of stuff going on between innings. And here's the shift play. Turner way in the hole. That wasn't Nimmo, by the way. I think that was Plawecki.
Yeah. Well, and that comes back to a bit of a debate that we can get into here. Strike to Worth. Hitters have tendencies. They hit the ball in certain places, but is he going to pull the ball like that against a power pitcher like Steven Strasburg?
Well,
that's up for debate. He's pretty unhappy about it.
I'm telling you, the shift is great when it works, but the psychological effect, it's unmeasurable at times. You can't quantify that when a guy's not where you think he should be, and how that affects a pitcher's psyche in the heat of battle.
Jason Worth base hit up the middle first time. Got some extension there and fouled it off to the right. So Matt Harvey's first 2 innings, 33 pitches, 17 strikes. After Syndergaard threw just 4 in the first, 5 in the first, 4 strikes. Got the double play ball. Strasburg now through 3 innings is at 58 pitches, 41 strikes.
I like that he cares that much about where his defense is and that it's ticking him off a little bit. I think it's good stuff. Just go sit in the dugout and feel sorry for yourself, or get a little ticked off that you thought your shortstop should have been more up the middle.
3-2 to Worth. Steven is a man of few words, and we like it when he gets after it.
Well, he gets after it every 5th day. It's just sometimes we're lucky enough to see the emotion. I like it.
Worth reaching, and Rosario. That's a low throw. Had to be picked by Dominic Smith. Murphy and Rendon the next 2. Well, I mean, gets after it verbally. Yeah. That's something we don't see very often at all. You alluded to his look over to Sanchez when he made a play for him at third base one night in a recent start, celebrating along with his third baseman, giving him his props. And we like the emergence of Steven Strasburg and his personality.
I mean, as an analyst, I wish we just had a camera in the dugout the whole time. And I mean, it's better sometimes than the action on the field.
Daniel Murphy hit the ball really hard first time, right at Jose Reyes. Turned to 4-6-3 double play to end the first. Harvey, meanwhile, pitching pretty well. One and two. Nats down by 3. Murphy's hit 22 home runs. Drives that fair ball down the right field line. That gets deep into the corner. So he's going to dig it for 2 until Aoki scoops it out of there, and he does. Daniel Murphy on the doubles list all year long, and that ties him with Nolan Arenado for the league lead with 42.
Yeah, bullet first time up for a double play. This time he stays on the Harvey changeup, it looks like, and drives it down into the corner. Ball boy doing a nice job of evacuating the premises. 42nd double.
And here's a guy with 40, Rendon. Anthony's had a recent surge in 2 baggers. He starts the day 3rd in the league in that category. Rendon still, at least from our standpoint, still having his sights set on 100 RBIs. '96 has him in the top 10.
Yeah, we had about a 45-minute bus ride to the ballpark today, and I got on my phone and was reading about F-War, Fangraphs WAR, which Anthony Rendon leads the National League in. It takes into account walks versus strikeouts. It takes into account defense, base running. Kind of mashes them all together with the runs scored and all the production, and you come out with the leader in the National League in F-War, Fangraphs WAR. Wins above replacement. Meaning, you know, how many runs, how many wins is Anthony Rendon worth versus a bench player or a AAA guy? I think Altuve and Aaron Judge are the only players in front of him in Major League Baseball. So he's 3rd in all of baseball and 1st in the National League. I could explain it to you, but it might make your head blow up. But it's good stuff.
Well, next time somebody who knows has 45 minutes on their hands, give them a call.
I will. It's got equations involved, which that's where you lose me, but he's the best.
2-2 with 1 out. Rendon jammed, and it's out of play. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Jeep. So batting 300, on base over 400, and slugging over 5. It's the 3-4-5 club, and it's not something that's done very often. Started the night at 303, 402, so he's just down a click or so after hitting a bouncing ball to Reyes first time up.
Yeah, where he really separated himself from a lot of players was his defensive scores and his walks to strikeouts,
which is almost 1-to-1. That ball driven down the right field line. They had him played way over there. Murphy frozen at second. Now that time the analytics work because Aoki was playing somewhere way over there. That's usually an easy double. 2 outs.
And there's a lot of things to like about Anthony Rendon besides the analytics. So what he brings to the table every day. He plays hard. He's intelligent. He runs the bases well. He picks it at 3rd. But for my money, he's the best 2-strike hitter I've ever seen on a daily basis. The guy doesn't care if he has 2 strikes. He does damage with 2 strikes. He hits balls like you just saw with 2 strikes. Where other guys are swinging hard and missing with 2. Anthony Rendon treats that count because he can wait so long, like a 3-1 count at times. Best 2-strike hitter I've been around.
Here's Lind. Nationals 4th inning trying to get on the board here. They've had only 2 hits. That one skips in and Kevin Plawecki slides to make a very good play. Adam Lynn was all in on that one.
I think up by 3, you pitch to Lynn right here. Maybe if it's a closer game with the base open, you might favor a right-on-right matchup. But right now, Adam Lynn's seeing Matt Harvey well, it looks like.
1-2. Up and away. Lind, lots of loud contact on that one. Deep left. See you later. Adam Lind helps the Nationals tie their all-time home run record. And now Adam Lind gets the Nats a new season record. His 14th is number 204 for the Nats. And also some symmetry for you. His 200th career home run.
Nice. Congratulations, Adam Lind. Well, what I was trying to say there, regardless of the score, you better be careful against Adam Lind, and they weren't.
Yeah, somebody down there just said that's 200 right there. Brand new ball game. Here's Taylor. He's up there hacking. Strike one.
And it's no knock on Michael A. Taylor, who's done his fair share of damage this year. It's just you got a right-on-right matchup. Look at Ryan Zimmerman bouncing out of the clubhouse for career home run number 200. That's such a milestone, man. Way to go. And they threw the ball back. Did they get it? I mean, it almost came to Rosario at shortstop. Somebody has a good arm and left. Here it is again. Looked like a fastball up from Harvey. Maybe a changeup looking at it second time. Had the sound. Ball's been carrying the left in this series. Yeah, that dude threw it back, Carp. So maybe they got that ball. He wants that ball. Trust me, that's a big one. Sure.
Oh, 2. And Harvey gives up his 19th home run of the year. So on the bat of Adam Lind, it's a record tire, a record breaker on 2 successive nights, and a career milestone as well. Foul ball.
It's a lot of taters. I feel like he's going to get a humongous hit in October somewhere, don't you?
Yeah. Adam Lind's career high in homers. In 09, he had 35 for the Blue Jays with 46 doubles. Won the Silver Slugger as the DH that year. And Michael A. Taylor checks in with a knock. Just like that, the tying runs on base.
Good swing right back up the middle. Fastball up from Matt Harvey. It's not where you want that pitch. And now does Michael A. Taylor think about stealing here early in the count?
14 out of 21. Nats are 2 steals away from 100. They would have passed that up about 2 months ago with a healthy Turner and Taylor. Matt Harvey's into the low 60s on his pitch count.
That's why I like him, Carp, in October. They can beat you in different ways. You know, there's been Nats teams in the playoffs that hit home runs, and you know that doesn't always work in the postseason. And now you got the absence of Adam Eaton and Trey Turner for a bunch. How do you win? Well, you string some doubles and home runs together. When they're back, or when Turner got back, and now Michael Taylor's there, they can beat you with speed. They have a bunch of guys that can hit A-list pitchers, which I think is the most important thing in October baseball. Do you have a lineup that can hit a #1 starter?
Yeah.
The A's teams in the early parts of the 2000s won 100 games every year, but they only had 2 guys maybe in their lineup that could hit a #1 starter like Roger Clemens. So they were built to win over 6 months.
To the right side, Jose Reyes throws out. Stevenson. But Adam Lind makes it a big 4th inning after a Murphy 1-out double. This is a 2-out, 2-run opposite field shot. some history attached. It's a 3-2 game. Baseball brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4. Toyota, what drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Citi Field, home of the Mets since 2009. Mets have played so well here, 6 out of 8 this year. Adam Lynn having a big weekend. It will be Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom tomorrow. Scherzer 15-6, deGrom 15-9. On to Philly. So you're looking at the rest of our road games for this season. And then the battling Buccos will be in town starting a 4-game series on Thursday night. Bottom of the 4th. Matt Harvey takes a strike up in the zone. Steven Strasburg now 59 pitches, 42 strikes. Hardy on the curveball, that swing. Tried to power the fastball to the outer edge.
Yeah, remember earlier this year, Matt Harvey missed the game.
Yeah.
Just didn't show up for a game. Something I've never heard of before.
There's a fastball that'll punch out the opposing pitcher. Number 6 for Strasburg.
Washington area Toyota dealers help children and their families by making a $37 donation to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this year. Best walk-up song ever.
Aoki. That's what you're going to call. When you need a base hit, he's got 5 in a row. Starting last night in the 3rd inning, 5 consecutive singles. A bunt on the 3rd baseline, right field, right center, tonight left center, and up the middle. The man is using the ball field here.
Cespedes' walk-up song is good too. The Lion King theme song.
Oh yeah. 1-1. Off the glove of Turner, and then he's able to grab it out of the air. So Aoki close to 6 hits in a row, and Trey says no, not this time. So the old tip drill works on a Saturday.
Yeah, what a play. Aoki tries to massage this one in the left center, and Trey Turner leaping. Stays with it. So score that one 6 to 6 to 6 to 6.
Well done. Bases empty, 2 outs, and here's Reyes.
Steven was frustrated that he thought Aoki got another hit.
In baseball, you can tip the ball to yourself. And Reyes will hit a high fly ball to left for Jason Worth. Steven Strasburg, his first 1-2-3 inning tonight, thanks to an athletic move and then a stay with it approach for Trey Turner.
It's like the Lynn Swan catch in the Super Bowl. Just watching Matt Harvey warm up, and he's thinking to himself right now, someday I'm going to catch Matt Harvey, or I wish I could catch Matt Harvey. He's just sitting there with that mask on the whole inning. That's good stuff. Want an exclusive access to Nationals postseason ticket presale? Join the Free Nats fan club and receive all postseason presale information. Visit nationals.com/postseason to join today. He was just daydreaming and seeing himself as a big leaguer someday with his catcher's mask and shades on. He was ready. That, or he's going to be in Friday the 13th, 12.
Jason's grandson returns. Wieters, Strasburg, Turner, top of the 5th. Matt Wieters jacks one high into the air. See you later. He's a member of the 10 home run club, ever expanding for the Nats, and now a tie game.
That was a far tater. Good for Matt Wieters. He got all this one. Fastball with a lot of plate. Leg kick, foot down early, serious extension, and this is a far one. There's the sound. 418 feet. Way deep into the Nats bullpen. That felt good.
So the Nats go blowing by their team record, 205 now in the year. Not to be forgotten, Steven Strasburg has hit 2 of those this season.
Yes.
And 3 in his career. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and that's fine. Get back to the dugout, get a breather, stay loose, and now the top of the order. That, by the way, is Matt Harvey's first strikeout. Turner's next. Trey, a liner to right and a ground ball to third.
My biggest fear as a player, Carp, was missing the day game. It's why a lot of players have trouble sleeping tonight with a 1 o'clock start tomorrow, because if you talk to some of them, you know, you set 5 alarms, you get a wake-up call in your hotel room. But your biggest fear is, and you have dreams about this as a player, is missing a day game. Sleeping right through it, because you get on the vampire schedule, right? You wake up at noon, you come to the ballpark at 2, you know, you play a game till 10, you get to bed at 1, 2 in the morning after you wind down. And then all of a sudden, there's a day game in there, and it throws your schedule off. I'm telling you. No excuse for it, but what happened to him missing a ball game is every player's biggest fear.
Trey Turner, a high fly to center. Lagares, 2 outs, top 5. This year, Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers, because of a lot of home runs, 200 of them, will donate $50,000 to the Children's National Health System. It's their Massa Nationals Home Run Kids initiative. Lexus, experience amazing.
Dusty Baker would love to see Jason Worth lock in. Josh Smoker getting loose, maybe for Daniel Murphy. Let's have a good last week of the season, carry it right into October.
Base it up the middle first time, really hard hit. Next time up, and that's a good swing. Harvey had him reaching as he rolled over a grounder to short.
He's on time. He has balance. He's spread out now. And, you know, when you have a wider base, it keeps your head still. It takes a lot of the timing mechanism out of it.
That's going to get him on the outside edge. So 2 Ks for Harvey through 5, but he gives up a serious long home run to Matt Wieters. Number 10 for Matt, RBI number 52, and we're tied halfway through.
Steven Strasburg's last 5 starts coming into tonight, he allowed a total of just 1 run. And I asked pitching coach Mike Maddox earlier on today what he saw over those last 5 starts that maybe elevated Strasburg's game a little bit higher than normal. And he said that Strasburg's pitching ahead in the count. And to Maddox's point, over those last 5 starts, Strasburg threw first pitch strikes 70% of the time. Maddox says when Strasburg is working ahead in the count that often and is able to throw 4 pitches for strikes in any count like he has been, puts him in a really advantageous positioning. And when that's happening, Maddox says hitters have to hit Strasburg's pitch, which obviously isn't something they want to be doing. He's working from ahead and throwing all of his pitches for strikes.
Curveball misses to Cabrera. When you're talking Cards, you're talking Coons. Thanks, Dan. WeatherCoons.com sideline report. 67/47, the Strasburg pitch count through 4. Ball 2. Has dribbled tonight, foul out to Wieters, and a walk and a run scored in that 3-run, 4-hit 3rd inning. Got jammed on that one. Trey Turner to his right, backhand, jump throw. Perfectly done. He's perfecting that move now.
We got a jumper. I like when he goes that way and does it. Look where he's playing. Look at the range here. Going to his right. Little jump throw on the exchange with a lot on it, too. It's not like he jumps and lollipops it over there. I think the torque that he gets when he throws in the air actually gets a little extra on his throws.
Brandon Nimmo, big hit for the Mets. The ground rule double 2 innings ago. Got him their first run. And a foul off to the left side. Nimmo had a big year in the minor leagues last season. This year, not so great at Vegas. 227 in 42 games, but they like him. 24 years of age. First rounder 6 years ago. Did he go? Mike Winters says no.
There's times when Trey Turner actually makes the exchange from glove to hand while he's in the air. I think he did it a little before he jumped on this one. But I'm infatuated with the way he makes this play. Jeter used to do it in an emergency going into left field. Trey Turner does it all the time. Watch how sweet this is. There's the exchange. He's in the air and then kind of throws against his body with the upper half swinging around to get more on the throw. Watch the upper half kind of stay closed and unwind late to get some velocity on it while he's in the air. I mean, who does that? He does.
Nimmo a chopper. Strasburg over to get it. He'll just stop and tag the runner.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to any young players. I mean, fundamentally, you get the big leagues, you do it however you want. That's 75 miles an hour throwing it in the air with no base. Imagine if Steven Strasburg right now jumped up off the rubber and threw a pitch. It would be like 65, 70? I'd want to see that, by the way.
Saw Jordan Walden do it for years internationally.
You're right.
Jumping off the rubber and pitching. Kevin Plawecki, the 2-run hopper up the middle that gave the Mets their second and third runs back in the third. That thing just took forever to get through the infield, but Turner and Murphy couldn't get there. One. That'll buckle you.
Yeah.
2-2. And he bolts that fastball to the outer edge, and Milwaukee has to stay alive. The New York team clinched today. The Yankees had a win at Toronto. They are in postseason. Well ahead of Minnesota for the first wild card. A couple of teams, the Angels and the Rangers out in the West, still a chance to catch Minnesota. Nobody else from the East in the American League able to make any kind of run. So things starting to take shape a bit. Right back here with a foul ball. So right now, Yankees, Twins, Red Sox, Astros, Cleveland looking like a sure bet now. They won today to make it to 100 wins. Second half for the Indians.
I like the Astros now with Verlander coming out of the American League.
Yeah, that's a factor. This ball's going to carry to Jason Worth, and Steven Strasburg another 1-2-3. So 7 straight for him, 8 of the last 9. 3-3 game.
Memberships are on sale right this very second. Guarantee the best available seats for the 2018 regular season. Plus, you get postseason tickets this year, all-star tickets next year, home run derby tickets, the whole deal. Visit nationals.com/2018 today.
3-3 ball game, 3-5-0 Nats, 3-7-0 Mets. Josh Smoker was drafted in the first round by the Nats back in 07. And our Freight Railworks duo will show you who's facing him and what they've done against the Mets this year. Murphy in comparable numbers, 1 for 2, a double and a run tonight. Anthony Rendon hit it hard last time, lined out. And Adam Lind having a big night, walking a 2-run homer. Out of Calhoun, Georgia, Smoker was the 31st overall player taken by the Nats back in 07. Took him a long time to get to the big leagues. 20 games last year. That'll be his 51st appearance this season.
Yeah, fastball 95, slider 81. Split is the out pitch at 84.
Got the 9th inning assignment last night. Got Adam Lind to fly out to left. Murphy 1 for 3 against him with an RBI and 2 walks. Had him reaching. Out behind short for Rosario. First out, 6th inning. Nats box. Worth a hit in the first, double play took care of that. Couple of walks. No hits till the 4th, but Murphy got it started with that 1-out double. Adam Lynn went opposite field to make it 3-2. Taylor a base hit later in the inning. Then Matt Wieters, his monster shot, tying things up when he led off in the 5th. Strasburg, meanwhile, 83 pitches, 56 strikes in his 5 innings.
You know, if you were a parent,
which I am,
and your last name was Smoker, you could have a big impact on your kids' lives with the first name. Positive or negative, depending on which way you went with it.
I'm waiting to see which way you're going.
I'm not going. I'm just talk amongst yourselves to have a little fun. It's a great last name for a pitcher.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to throw 94 if you have. You can't have that last name and come out throwing 82.
No. No, you can't be a sinker slider guy without him.
You can't throw dead fish up there with a last name of Smoker.
Yeah, I always thought Rex Slider was a great name for a pitching coach. Four-pitch walk to Anthony Rendon, who's on for the first time tonight. Now, with that walk, Rendon has 79 walks and 79 strikeouts.
That's impressive. This is impressive, too. We're going to StatCast this all over the place. Opposite field home run. Career home run number 200 for the Colonel. He's got the Colonel thing going again, by the way, and he's raking 100 miles an hour exit velocity, 382 feet. StatCast is brought to you from Fios by Verizon. This guy threw it up ways, too. Fios is not cable. We're wired differently. Go to getfios.com today. Did he get the ball? That dude threw it almost back to the infield.
And Coco, our man on the spot down there, confirms he got the baseball.
He did a good job last night finding out that Victor Robles did break his bat, confirming that a broken bat triple, 374 feet in left center field gap. Impressive. There's been broken bat home runs, but you know, it's just his first go around the big leagues. And we've heard so much about him. That's why that was so cool.
Smoker losing his command of the strike zone here. Walked Rendon on 4. He's gone 3-0 on Lind, who is 0 for 2 career against him, including that fly ball last night. Better not throw one right down the middle here. Adam was taking 95.
Have been sitting off speed there in a 3-1 counter, looking away. You go opposite field home run, you might get challenged in the next time. See where they go here.
Rendon holding with 1 out. Ball hits the top of the screen and redirects up into the crowd.
That's no small thing, by the way. He just said 79 strikeouts and 79 walks.
I know. Who does that anymore?
That's amazing. Anthony Rendon, as many strikeouts as he has walks. In today's game, it just doesn't happen.
That ball laced out into center. Rosario, the shortstop, playing right up the middle, and Lynn took it to his right. Adam Lynn has done as good a job of anybody I've seen this year of getting hits through shifts wherever.
Well, it's the exit velocity. I mean, this guy hits him right on the nose more than most. 102 mile an hour base hit. That is a sweet swing, folks.
Michael A. Taylor, 1 for 2, base hit up the middle last time. Facing a Smoker for the first time. Nationals trying to get Strasburg ahead here in the 6th. Taylor, good ID on the off speed, 2-0. Dan Worthen has been dispatched to the mound. Remember, he walked Rendon on 4, went 3-0 on Lynn before the base hit, and now 2-0 on Michael A. Taylor. So Josh Smoker giving the Nats the opportunity to get a big inning here. Nine o'clock. Top of the 6th here. One more meeting tomorrow between the Mets and the Nats. Washington's going to win the season series. It could end up 13-6. Trying to win their 7th game in 9 here at Citi Field. Upstairs, Taylor couldn't get to it, went reaching a bit on 2-0. They give him left center. Now a pitch within, loading him up.
Pitch with it, hit one of the seats. That's where you wind up and let it rip if you're Michael A.
It's Jason Bradford, who ended up getting the win last night, pitching a scoreless 6th inning right before the Mets took the lead. 3-2 now. Upstairs for the strikeout, 2 down. Lefty-lefty matchup. It'll be a tough one for Andrew Stevenson. Nissan tracks it.
Little high cheese.
Andrew a walk and a ground ball tonight. And Plawecki shaken up by that one.
I don't think his dribble said anything. I just think he came in and cleaned his cleats off.
Matt Albers, it appears, for the 6th. Is Steven Strasburg done? Nats trying to get him a chance to get a W here.
Yeah, it's a big at bat. Base hit. He qualifies for his 15th win of the year. No pressure. He's talking to Mike Maddox, but he's watching the game. Decision in the balance right here.
And not that time. Couple of strikeouts for Smoker after a very rocky start to his inning.
ball game here from Citi Field. Adam Lynn, congratulations, 200 career taters. Matt Wieters with his first home run since August 22nd, his 10th on the year. And Geico Highlights going to show you Steven Strasburg's night in full, not just pitching, all kinds of things going on tonight for the big right-hander. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, struck out 6 Mets. Talked to Marty Foster about a questionable call here or there. It was an inside fastball to maybe Cabrera, and then something about Trey Turner and the shift right there. So Trey would pick him up later and be in the exact right spot. So maybe Steven a little grouchy tonight, got in late the other night. I was grouchy last night.
No kidding.
I said some things about Gazelman early on in the game about him being wild that just were uncalled for. So
okay.
Whatever, I was grouchy last night. And Steven tonight. I like it. Sometimes you got to be abrasive, Bob.
Okay. Matt Albers pitched last night. He could pitch every night if you needed him. Got a couple of outs to wrap up the ball game after Sean Kelly had to leave the mound. He got caught stealing on a good pitch and then a fly ball. And I mean, every number you throw up there about Matt Albers is just positive on what he's done for the Nationals through 60 appearances. 34 hits in 57 2/3, 61 strikeouts. Can't be any better than he's been. So the Mets box all 3 runs and 4 of their 7 hits in that 3rd inning. Aoki 2 more hits tonight. RBIs from Nimmo and Plawecki. Kevin had that 2-run single after the Nimmo ground rule double that brought in their first run. Strasburg didn't give them a sniff since retiring his last 7 batters in 8 of the last 9. So Matt takes on Dominic Smith, bottom 6.
I wouldn't be surprised if after the game you hear that the calf loosened up as he went, because I didn't see him stretching between pitches. He got into that rhythm we were talking about. And maybe the fact that he had to hit the accelerator so soon in the 1st inning with runners on 2nd and 3rd to start the game up affected that calf. He didn't get a chance to ease in.
So Strasburg 83 pitches, 56 strikes. Been a while since he's given up 7 hits. One hit off the end of the bat to left. Jason Worth is going to run it down and make a backhand sliding grab. Very much at home back in left field. 1 out.
Well, he wasn't at home first in left field. You remember opening day at Fenway Park? I think Big Poppy hit him a line drive. It was his first time playing left field in a while. If you remember back, ball went over his head. You remember back to early this year, he was playing some of the best left field we had ever seen him play. He was making plays like this on a nightly basis, and we were saying, hey, for 37 years old, which was what he was at the time, he was playing Gold Glove left field. Here's another example on the highlight reel. He's had his troubles in right this year. And I think when you miss so much time, Carp, you forget how fast the game moves until you're out there for a little bit, and then it starts to slow down again.
Ahmed Rosario 1 for 2. And Albers picks it off, keeps his balance, and throws him out. And Albers showing a little athleticism out there. 2 down.
Well, this is where he hit the triple when he was a White Sox. It was against the Mets in interleague play, so he likes playing here. And I always compare him to Rick Russell, the former Giants pitcher, who had a big frame and very athletic. Matt Albers the same way. He could pick it. Nice play.
And boy, could Rick Royschel hit.
He could hit. He could field his position. He could pitch. Levon Hernandez, another example.
There's Juan Lagares in the number 8 spot. And a ball well hit to left, and Worth's going to catch that.
That stayed up forever, didn't it?
Juan Lagares can't believe it. He wanted to slam his helmet down. How about the defense for the Nats in the 6th?
As we go to the last 3 frames. Just like I promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's check out Matt Wieters' 10th Tater of the year. And why don't we throw some numbers on it just for the heck of it? There you go, 104 miles an hour, 30-degree launch angle, perfect. Between 25 and 30 is optimal. Projected home run distance, 418, and that felt real good for Matt Wieters.
Pured that one. We're going top 7. Wieters, Defoe, who's on deck, and Turner, as Chasen Bradford makes his 2nd appearance of the series. As mentioned, he gave up a hit in the 6th inning last night to Wilmer Defoe, but he got a scoreless frame. Then the Mets got the eventual winning run in the bottom of that inning, and he got the W. So he's 2-0. Done pretty well against first batters faced.
This is a big at-bat because, in essence, this is Bautista or Robles hitting if he gets on.
Wieters to left center. And Brandon Nimmo over to grab it.
Good swing. And with all the catchers in the expanded rosters, tie game, he would have been a pinch run for right there. He would have had some speed on.
Defoe is a pinch hitter. 4 for 25. Another whole hum inning for Matt Albers. 7 pitches, 5 strikes. 1, 2, 3. Challenging hitters. They put it in play. His defense takes care of the rest. Tie game, Brandon Kintzler queuing up for the 7th. Turning one over with 90 behind it. That is right over the bag and fair. Hits the short corner, so it's out in front of Aoki. And Difo has to retreat. He was looking for a double, clapping, saying let's go to his dugout, and the lead runs aboard.
Good swing. You're thinking go ahead and run on second base and scoring position, but Aoki played this as well as you possibly can. So just inside the bag. Good agility by first base umpire Chris Siegel, and then watch Aoki stop Wilmer Difo, who was thinking about two.
And that's missing by a foot or so. That thing going deep into the corner for 2 to 3 bags. Trey Turner up there, first pitch swinging, and he knew it didn't go anywhere. 2 outs.
Jason Worth with a couple of nice routes last inning. This is the best one. Dominic Smith, line drive. Coming in, making a slide. Route efficiency 96%, basically. Covered 56 feet. Nice play. That was the sexy one. The line drive that he caught, the last one, Carp, was a much harder play, actually. Low line drive right at you. He hesitated for a second. Is it going to carry to me? Do I go in? Do I go back? That's the toughest play for an outfielder to make. The judgment on it. So this is a harder one, actually. He makes it look easy, but it's a low line drive. Do I come in? Do I play it on a hop? There's a split second where you got to make that decision.
Jason 1 for 3 tonight, facing Bradford for the first time.
It's like, you know, when you come to a yellow light, do you gun it and go through, or do you stop?
Split second decisions can be very costly.
I mean, I drive to win, I gun it and go through.
Count is even. Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast.
Good pitch. Yeah, don't need to be fouling anything off the toe, or the foot for that matter. Hit him in the guard, looked like. Yeah, he told me, he said, you know, I'm not waiting for something to get hit again, so I'm going head to toe with everything. You know, the foot guard, the shin guard, the elbow guard, the face guard. He said, why do it after? Nobody ever does it before. I'm going to go and protect my whole body now. So everyone puts the shin guard, the foot guard on after you hit it. Everyone puts the elbow guard on after you get hit by a pitch.
Right.
And then you get hit in the grill, you put the face guard on. And Jason said, why not? Just put it on before.
2 balls and 2 strikes. So Daniel Murphy awaiting here. Top 7.
You know, when you're 22 or 23 and a rookie, you don't think like that. Protect everything before you get hit.
Yeah.
You're invincible.
You're invincible, right?
You're bulletproof when you're that age. And then you get a little bit older, a little bit smarter. At least some of us.
Jason held, and Chris Siegel confirms. That's big. 3-2. Difo with good speed will get a head start here.
Negative.
Target in. Worth pops it up. He got jammed. Dominic Smith Foul ball. 7th inning stretch time in New York. It remains 3-all. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
I think they're looking at the eclipse. Right?
Yep, they're watching something. In unison. Let's go inside the numbers, brought to you by PNC Bank. Appropriate with Kinsler coming in, teaming with Madsen and Doolittle for the recent dominance of the Nats bullpen. Best in ERA after the break. No worse than third in any other category, and first in a whole bunch of them. Keeping it in the yard, walks and hits are down, blown saves almost non-existent. I think one that whole time.
They give Mike Rizzo tons of credit for reshaping, remaking the Nats bullpen with the acquisition of 3 guys that have turned out to be money. Every single one.
Kinsler, the 33-year-old veteran, 25-year-old pinch hitter Phil Evans for the Mets.
You remember in 12, the Nats had, I think, the best record in the National League with 98 wins. Everybody talking about, hey, they were the favorites. In 13, everybody picked them to win the World Series. 14, a lot of people picked them. 15, same thing. Last year, this is the first year they're going in under the radar. And I know that sounds silly, but you know, with the Dodgers and all their success this year, everybody talking about them. The Cubs now with the best record in the National League in the second half, everyone jumping on the Cubbies bandwagon. This is the first time the Nats go into the postseason as under the radar as they can be.
That's fine.
You know, everybody picking the Cubs to beat them. I heard a bunch of shows the other day that the Cubs are rolling. They're already talking about Cubs Dodgers.
You know what though?
But my point is, Carp, I think it's a good thing. This is the first time they still have a lot of pressure to get out of the first round. You can't discount that. But this is the first time I think they're going in is not the prohibitive favorites.
Yeah. And I hear those things too. And a lot of that is people who change their mind every week about what they think is going to happen. And I'm with you. I think it's great for the Nats to be in that position.
And like I said, if they get out of that first round, the Gorillas off the back and they go. It's going to be relaxed, playoff baseball. And I think they'll go far if they get out of the first round. But, you know, there's a lot of pressure there. There is. But there's so many guys on this team that don't know about it, right? Trey Turner, well, maybe a little bit. The guy on the mound right now, Matt Wieters, Adam Lynn. There's a lot of guys that don't know about it. But even if you weren't here, Carp, you still hear about it. The media every day. So the first round this, the first round that. You think you get out of the first round, and then sometimes it becomes a psychological roadblock.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Evans hanging tough here. You got to be real careful about baseball. It's not a knee-jerk reaction sport. Today the Cubs took the lead in the top of the 10th. I don't know who was doing the game, and I heard somebody say, well, this is just the way Joe Madden planned it. You know, they're peaking at just the right moment, and this is all by design. 3 pitches later they lost the game.
Yeah.
You know, you just never know what's going to happen from 1 second to the next, much less 1 minute or game or week. So that's a pretty good job of pinch hitting by the rookie Phil Evans. Lead run aboard. Bottom 7, Nori Aoki coming up.
Well, we see Brandon Kintzler feel this position well. This, you'd think, is a bunting opportunity for Aoki. Laid one down last night that was a beauty in a tie game. Bottom of 7, leadoff man on. Be shocked if he didn't. He's way up in the box, too. Didn't give it away.
Aoki had 1 sacrifice bunt in 83 American League games this year. You know, sometimes the situations just don't present themselves that way. But he can square around at the very last second and get a beautiful 1 down. So that time Kintzler gets ahead.
I'm shocked. Call me shocked.
That he didn't square.
Yeah. He has been swinging it, though, so you see Terry Collins' point of view here.
So Aoki in this series, 5 for 7. Within a fraction of an inch on Trey Turner's glove of being 6 for 7. And now it's 0-2. Fastball up. Aoki 1 for 1 career against Kintzler. In the air, right where Taylor was playing. Michael probably only had to go about 15 or 20 feet to get that one. First out, 7th inning. For more on the right-hander, here's Dan.
Bob, like Sean Doolittle, Brandon Kintzler relies very heavily on his fastball, and I asked him about that recently. He said he doesn't view it as having just 1 pitch. He said if I have my 2-seam fastball and my 4-seam fastball, and I can throw both of them to all 4 quadrants of the strike zone when I want to, that's 8 different pitches right there. So he doesn't see it as leaning on 1 pitch. He sees it as if he can put his fastball, the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer, where he wants it in the 4 different quadrants. That's 8 different types of pitches, and he likes being really aggressive with that heater.
And now another pitch and another fly ball. Rendon, 2 outs, just like that. Asdrubal Cabrera has been a tough out for the last month or so.
That report Dan just did, he could have done the same one on Ross Detweiler back in the day. That's what Ross used to say about his fastball.
Yeah.
In, out, up, down, 2-seamer, 4-seamer. when he threw 90% fastballs as a starter, if you remember. Or high 80s at least.
Yeah, first guy I ever heard say that, and I'm sure others had, was Bob Gibson. He thought he had 4 different pitches. Different quadrants. He was a fastball slider guy. No changeups.
Lefty, right? Threw about 80.
All I could say is Max Scherzer's dad, Bob Gibson, was his idol. So I think some of that got passed along.
I think Max Scherzer's his idol now.
He's a lot of people's idol. Daniel Murphy's out in right field. Some people were cheering before they saw that red jersey out there. So Kinsler, leadoff hit, and that's it. To the 8th we go.
Here from Citi Field as we go to the top of the 8th. All tied at 3. Most popular way to follow the Nats the rest of the year into the postseason with MLB.com at bat, their #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, and StatCast. Download MLB.com at bat today.
Former Nat Jerry Blevins. 8th inning last night. You got a big out on Daniel Murphy with a fly ball in a tight game. He's become a fixture for the Mets on the left side of their bullpen. So he gives Murphy that super slow frisbee curveball at 69 miles an hour.
He throws that 49.5% of the time, so more than his fastball at 46%.
Murphy 2 for 11 career against Jerry. Three hooks in a row. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Daniel Johnson, considered a raw talent with lots of tools. Hagerstown and Potomac up to high A this year. Hit 298. Great power numbers. Runs, he can run. Well done. 5th round pick. Number 10 prospect, and quite a season for his second as a pro. Well, Jerry Blevins topping out at 70 miles an hour right there, and he got Murphy on 4 pitches. First out, 8th inning.
Well, you gotta like this matchup if you're Davey Johnson. I mean, I had a flashback right there, didn't I? Been talking about Ross Detweiler. I had a flashback.
Yeah. Well, Davey managed both of these ball clubs.
And I was talking about him earlier today with Ed Coleman, radio voice, one of the radio voices of the Mets, talking about how Terry's been here longer than Davey. And who would have thought that with all that Davey did as a New York Mets skipper?
Yeah, Collins second on their wins list. Ray Knight on that team. Lots of other real normal guys.
That was supposedly the craziest team that ever played in the history of the major leagues.
It's what we've heard.
I played with Kevin Elster in Los Angeles, and I heard some stories about Davies Ball Club back then that was just from Elster. Let's just put it this way. You win in New York, you have a lot of fun when you're 23 years old making a lot of money. It's the first time I felt old on TV, by the way.
Two on one. Even in a lefty-righty matchup, the Mets play Rendon the other way. Big gap in left center.
Jim Riggleman's got to love this matchup here at a 3-1 count.
Waiting for Manny Acton, Frank Robinson to check in. Way outside, and a 1-out walk. Rendon on for the second time, and now he has more walks than strikeouts. 80 over 79. Howie Kendrick's going to hit for Adam Lind here.
Look for a curveball in the dirt. If you're Anthony Rendon, or maybe you just steal. Let's see.
Howie Kendrick has faced Jerry Blevins 8 times with 1 hit. And Howie keeps looking over as if he expects Terry Collins to come out, and maybe he wanted an extra toss or two for a right-hander. He waited a while. So Howie. And that's kind of weird to me because they just now announced Howie Kendrick. I guess once you get the nod from the umpire, you're okay. So Blevins departs. It'll be a righty-righty matchup. One for tomorrow. Will it be a rubber game? Jacob deGrom, 15-9 in his career, 5-3 against the Nats. Max Scherzer, 15-6 in his career, 7-4 against the Mets. We'll get you going at 1 o'clock on Masson tomorrow. And then first pitch right after 1:30 or so. Actually 12:30 Nats extra, 1:05 first pitch. What a great matchup. Howie Kendrick's going to stay in to face the right-hander. First time we will see 23-year-old Jamie Callahan.
Well, Jamie, fastball, slider, split, fastball 96, so he's got a good heater.
Sixth appearance, 6.23 ERA. Howie Kendrick swings and misses at the first one.
Interesting that Terry Collins would leave the lefty Blevins in to face the righty Rendon, who's one of the best hitters in the National League, and then he brings in the righty to face Howie Kendrick now.
Yeah.
I mean, Howie can hit too. Maybe he just didn't want to press his luck twice in a row.
Anthony Rendon hitting .337 against lefties this year, so that's risky.
Maybe he wasn't ready. Maybe Callahan wasn't hot enough to face Rendon.
And a 1-2 with one out. Howie putting those hands up, trying to drive that one somewhere. Right up the middle and off of Rosario. Rendon snuffs it out and heads all the way to third as the ball trickles away. Huge for the Nats. Lead run, third base, one out.
Well, we've seen some ground balls with eyes tonight. This one is a perfect example. That was maybe an inning ender, right? Taylor made double play. You catch this, you flip it to Reyes. He turns and throws it to first, and now you got first and third, one out. The ball just trickles away from Rosario, and Rendon into third, and now a big at-bat for Michael A. Taylor. He's trying to put his ball club ahead. Throwing over.
Howie Kendrick will take that hit call from the official score.
I think it's the right one. I think it's a play that probably should be made at this level, but not a routine play by any means. Maybe he was thinking about the flip before he caught it.
Taylor 1 for 3 tonight. And then Marty Foster thought about it for an instant. Called it a strike.
It's a good take. That's a ground ball for swing. He's looking for something up. Ooh, same pitch.
Close. 1-1. Nissan on the pitch cast.
A little bit lower, I'm told. Barely. Look at that. Pitch it down there for the ground ball. Michael Taylor looking for it up. Pretty good wheels at third. Not going to take an extremely deep fly ball to put the Nats up.
Taylor way out ahead. Look out.
Well, now you got to put it in play, even if you hit it on the ground and run like crazy.
3-3 game, up and away, 3-2.
You start the runner here?
That's risky. Michael has struck out 125 times this year.
I don't think you do. We'll see.
Kendrick, a jab step that drew a throw. He's going, and Taylor makes contact straight back to the screen.
Pretty good jump too. So as a base runner, Carp, if you have speed and you're a stolen base guy, in this situation, you're not just starting. You're getting a good lead and you're getting a good jump. You're trying to steal the base. Oftentimes in a 3-2 count as a runner, you're just starting, right, to stay out of the double play. You're betting on contact with a hitter. But if you have a hitter that strikes out a lot, in this situation, you're Howie Kendrick, you're trying to flat out steal second base. You're not just, you know, getting an average jump, you're getting your best jump.
Full count again. Outfield way around to the right. A look over and I don't know, kind of a half speed move there. Michael A. Taylor strikes out. Howie Kendrick was holding. 2 down.
Went with the off speed here. Looked like a slider down the zone at 88. Big strikeout for Callahan and the Mets.
Yeah, Mets had second and third. Nobody out back in the first. Couldn't score. Nats have all of their runs driven in by homers tonight. Lind and Wieters. So this is really the first time the Nationals have had a runner at third base. Fewer than 2 outs. And now with 2 down, Stevenson looking for his second major league RBI. Great speed at third. Great veteran at first who knows how to run the bases. Ball 1.
Well, you look at Cabrera, he's in on the grass, which you have to take the bunt away. We've seen Andrew hit the ball in the 5.5 hole. If you go this way right there, because of the drawn-in infield, you got a chance. There's a big hole over there because of Cabrera's lack of range for the bunt.
Chopper goes foul.
They're putting on a first and third steal defense right here. Look at Plawecki in front of the plate. There's a lot of things you can do. You usually have 2 or 3 plays. One's throw through and the middle infielders read it. If you got the out, you tag him before the run scores. Another one's an arm fake. Sometimes you just eat it and let the guy steal with 2 strikes and 2 outs.
Stevenson strikes out. Good job by the rookie Jamie Callahan. We remain tied in New York. Steven Strasburg, 5 strong innings. They got work from Syndergaard and Harvey tonight. Right now, something, maybe one swing will decide the difference in this game. But, you know, here we are, the second last weekend of the season. Steven Strasburg, I think the good news of the night, things loosened up for him, like you said, then he battled himself through 5. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he has to be healthy in the postseason with Scherzer and Strasburg as a 1-2 punch, and then Gio as number 3. So it was good to see him. You know, it looked like he loosened up. We'll have to ask him after the game, but it was bothering him running to first on the bunt, and you could see him stretching between pitches, but the stuff was there. There was no risk of further injury. They let him go through it, which I like.
All right, Ryan Madson, he's the second of the big 3 out of the bullpen. In this case, the Nats aren't holding on to a lead, but we are in a tie situation. Brandon Nimmo, the cleanup guy, leads off bottom 8. First pitch, 81 on the breaking ball for a strike. Howie Kendrick to first. He can play anywhere. That is nasty to the left-hander. 1 out.
There's some nasty curves here from Ryan Madson. A 3-pitch see ya. Everything down the zone. Watch the break on the 12-6 knuckle curve from Ryan. Filth.
Next up, Kevin Plawecki. .95, seemingly an easy delivery there by Ryan Madson. And the breaking ball is unhittable.
Huh. Little show me fastball at 97, maybe to get back to the curveball here in a 1-2 count.
Foul tip, held on, 2 down.
I mean, the new bullpen on full display here tonight. I don't even know if it's new anymore. It's not even the way to say it. The bullpen on full display here tonight. Look at the sink on that. I mean, he's got about a 7-foot stride. 6.1 is the major league average, I believe. And Ryan Madson, when he gets down the hill, is closer to you than most. I mean, he's really out there with his stride. So now, on top of that, the long arm coming through. 96 on top of that with movement. Good luck. I mean, this is one of the best deals in baseball this year, getting Madson and Doolittle from the A's.
So Kinsler for the Nats has made his 23rd appearance. Ryan Madson, his 18th. Doolittle has had 27.
You had 2 guys that throw in the mid to upper 90s that miss bats. You know, the guy you're looking at right now has tremendous secondary pitches to complement it. And Sean Doolittle has tremendous intestinal fortitude to complement everything he throws. So, yeah, they're all fastballs, but he's coming after you. He's got what Dan Ugla made the T-shirt about.
1-1 with 2 outs. Right off the end of the bat, and that's a hit if it stays fair. Madson will pick it up as soon as it doesn't. Strike 2.
and that little ridge where the grass meets the dirt, let it fall off that thing. It usually goes foul, and then grab it so it doesn't come back fair. Nicely done. I mean, you remember the first half, Carp, we'd sit up here and say relievers don't grow on trees. It's not like, well.
Sometimes they grow on trades. Like Rizzo's move of the year. Then you look at some of the others, like Howie Kendrick. Swing and a miss.
Wow.
Strikes out the side. Tie game, 3-8-0, both ball clubs. This one to the ninth. Wieters, the pitcher spot, and then Turner. So Ryan Madsen takes on Brandon Nimmo. First time they see each other.
Dirty.
Adios. Plawecki. See ya. Smith. Bye-bye. Brought to you by visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org. Beautiful night in New York. Yeah, it looks like Old Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, doesn't it? The Jackie Robinson Rotunda at Citi Field. Jeurys Familia. Interesting situation. Came in, got his 4th save of the year last night when he struck out Victor Robles to end the game in a 7-6 Mets win.
A pretty nasty split he threw Robles last night. So the fastball averages 95.8. You're going to get one. He throws it 82% of the time. Slider split occasionally. Secondary pitches. And Matt Wieters is going to try to jump on here, and maybe Dusty Baker will pinch run for him. We'll see.
Alejandro De Aza in the number 9 spot. Wieters 1 for 3 career against Familia, and up there hacking.
And a homer in the 5th, his 10th of the year. First one since August 22nd. It went far. And I mean far.
9 Nationals now with double-digit home runs.
Andy Romero, he's got to make that play, doesn't he?
And if Jason Worth hits one, we'll have 10 guys with 10 or more. Tapper, Familia. Next up, Alejandro De Aza had a nice game here last night. Had a triple, scored a couple of runs, lined out hard, robbed of a second hit late in the game. There's Sean Duolot. along with Sammy Solis. So 1 pitches if it's 3-3. And you know who's in there if the Nats take the lead.
See what Twitter's done to you?
Oh, no, that's what you've done.
No, that's what Twitter's done to you.
Oh, is that what they call him?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
You need to step away from the Twitter. Look at the monster we created.
It's your fault. Proud to say, yet to post a selfie. Not going to happen.
I saw Mr. Met in the tunnel today. I almost did that very thing with him. But then I just walked right by him like I didn't even know him. He was scary. I mean, he's scary enough on the field, but imagine in the tunnel.
Yeah. Like a dark alley.
Like a dark alley, yeah. Over the run. Kids were screaming.
Familia to De Aza, and the matchup is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Looked like he was trying to throw his hands off the bat and get rid of it if he had to, just to not go around.
See if they go high fastball to a split.
Yeah, had that kind of action even though it was up, and that was 96. Wow.
Shook 2 fastballs to a split. Milwaukee put fastball away, no. Fastball in, no. Split, yes. That was a pretty good one and a good foul ball. Lived to fight another pitch.
Swing and a miss on that one, tailing up and away. 2 outs, and it's Trey Turner hoping to get aboard and making some things happen on the bases. Turner with a walk, 3 strikeouts, and an RBI. 0 for 5 career against Familia. Trey 0 for 4 tonight. This guy's got an arsenal when he's healthy, doesn't he?
Yeah, and if it looks this dirty on TV, imagine how it looks standing 60 feet 6 inches away from him. And he's huge too, by the way. I think TV does him justice on how big he really is.
Laced into the left field corner. Extra bases for Turner. Turns that into a 1 for 5 on the night.
I'm not sure, but I think he tried to quick pitch him with 2 strikes, or at least a little slide step. And Turner was ready. Watch the delivery. Didn't really come set, did he? Just kind of rolled through it, Turner ready, and he turns and burns on the 2-out double. Now Jason Worth has a chance to be the hero tonight.
One for 4 is Jason. 4 for 10 career against the Mets closer with a couple of walks.
Pretty good numbers.
Close. Double take by Plawecki before he throws it back.
Pretty good pitch. I mean, I think it's a strike. Jason Worth will take it. I mean, it's really in the box.
That's elevated in the zone. Mets have the bottom 3 in their order due up in the ninth. Some of the fans starting to stand here, trying to get it there. Turner getting a big lead. Reyes on the other side trying to keep him in the neighborhood.
Hey man, these situations right here are good practice for October. You're facing an elite type closer that has great stuff. The go-ahead run on second in the 9th inning. This would be a huge situation in about, what, 3 weeks?
Down and in, swing and a miss. Jeurys Familia has been unscored upon in 2 appearances in this series. .455 tonight. We're going bottom 9. Sammy Solis in a moment. We invite you to tune into the Nats Extra Postgame Show. Byron Kerr, Ray Knight. It's all presented by W.B. Mason when this one is over. So 27th game for Sammy.
You see the numbers. Lefty's hitting .233. So fastball low to mid 90s, curveball to go with it, occasional change. His job to get this thing to the 10th.
So the rookie Ahmed Rosario first up. fastball in on the 2-0 heater.
Challenge fastball. All fastballs so far. Throwing right after him.
Two. Turned one over on him. I mean, he struck out by a wide margin there, 1 out.
Yeah, all fastballs, and he pulls a changeup out, and Rosario way out in front of that. Swung right out of his helmet. So mucho strikeouts in a row for the Nats bullpen. That's 4.
On the Lagares up there swinging. Last night's home run hero, Travis d'Arnaud. And then Sammy brings the curveball around, 0-2.
Goes that changeup again. Lagares has been known to chase off speed down with 2 strikes. Going fastball.
And so far, Sammy not giving them anything pull side. Strike 3 call. Lagares can't believe it. Ball borderline low and away. 2 down, and Terry Collins upset.
Well, you can see high and low from the bench. You can't see if it's on the plate. And watch the way Matt Wieters catches this. I mean, the ball's almost in the dirt, regardless of what pitch cat says. And the Nats and Sammy Solis caught a break right there. That pitch was down. The 5th strikeout in the row for the bullpen. No pinch hitter scouting report from Mike Maddox right there. Maybe because d'Arnaud played just last night.
Yeah, they might have seen all of him they wanted. A couple of home runs last night. He drove in 4 of the Mets' 7. 0 for 2 against Sammy Solis. Strike call, 1-1. 95. Daniel Murphy charging, and this one is going to the top of the 10th. Murphy, Rendon, and then Howie Kendrick.
Ready to torture the Mets one more time. 3-3 as we go to the top of the 10th. Extra baseball. Get ready for the playoffs. We're checking out the latest edition of MASN All Access with Sarah Perlman and Paul Mancano on MASN Nationals Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. They're watching right now.
His name is Jacob Rame. 24-year-old native of Atlanta, originally drafted by the Dodgers. And for the Mets, it'll be his 6th appearance. He's been knocked around, 7 runs, 10 hits, and 4 2/3. Faces Daniel Murphy here in the 10th. Extra innings, the Nats are 6-4. On the road, 2-2. The Mets, it's been a nightmare. They're 2-7 in extra innings and 1-4 here at Citi Field. They're trying to get something off the field out in left field, and it kept falling back to Brandon Nimmo. Some bad hands behind the rail out there.
Cut to that fastball. Might have been the slider, actually, but very subtle. Fastball averaging 95 for Rame.
Murphy turns and fouls it. Oliver Perez will be next. Murphy takes the fastball up.
That's a good take. That was right at the top of the zone, maybe a little high. Something you want to offer at it because it's right in your eyes. It looks good. And he held up.
Out of play.
That's a pitch when Murph is locked in that he puts in the seats. That slider down and in. How many times have we seen him keep that fair? And he's talking to himself. He wants that one back.
That's got a loud sound to it to center. Lagares back on. See you later. It hit the black wall above the orange line, and Daniel Murphy has done it to the Mets again. 23rd homer, 90th RBI. It's 4-3.
Air ball. He missed the one before and he was frustrated. He took it out on the next pitch. The torture continues. Daniel Murphy versus the Mets. I guarantee he's going to talk about the cutter slider thing down and in that he fouled back. He was talking to himself, and I think he got a heater right there and just peered it.
For Daniel Murphy against the Mets this year, second homer, 14th RBI. Career against New York, 9th homer, 35th batted in.
He was telling somebody what the pitches from Rame are doing. He's got a cutter, a slider, and a homer.
This piece of ball. I was trying to get like the inside of it.
Talking about the cutter that he missed. He was trying to get inside of it, having a conversation with Adam Lind about it, I believe. The audio here is phenomenal.
Anthony Rendon walks. That's maybe rattling the rookie here in the 10th.
Here's the pitch he missed and fouled off before that he was talking to himself about. This is right in his turbo zone, right there, right down the middle. And he was just a little bit late. So what does he do on the next pitch? Starts a hair earlier and maybe the pitch a hair slower. That was an off-speed pitch and he caught it out front. And there's the finish that we love, the Phil Mickelson right down the fairway, 4-3 Nats.
Anthony Rendon has walked 3 times tonight. He's aboard. Howie Kendrick, base hit his first time up 2 innings ago. Rendon running, had a good jump, and that's a 1-hopper over to first. Productive out though for Howie. Another run in scoring position with 1 out. Michael A. Taylor is next. That ball was barely out of the ballpark before Sean Doolittle popped back up in the bullpen. He was already hot for a possible 9th inning appearance. And Taylor slams one right off the gear of Kevin Plawecki.
Murph's curse.
It's very real.
It's a real thing.
Now in its 2nd year.
It's in its 2nd year. Hundreds of years from now. Hundreds of years from now, they'll still be talking about Murph's curse. And they got rid of Daniel Murphy in New York.
It's been known to happen with players sent away.
No Billy Goats.
I don't believe in ghosts, but players can haunt their ex-teams.
No fans grabbing balls in play, just Murph's curse. Forever. He's excited, isn't he? Go ahead, home run the 10th. Why wouldn't you? There's no better way to get back at your old club than just by doing it. Just wants to tell anybody that can listen about the pitch and how he got under it, how he saw it out of his hand. I love it.
0-2 to Taylor. Daniel Murphy becomes the third Nat to make it to 90 RBIs. Anthony Rendon's at 96. Ryan Zimmerman, of course, over 100 at 103. And Michael A. Taylor, good job of just going the other way with that breaking ball.
I mean, the jolt of adrenaline you get from hitting a home run, it's hard to describe. And you're seeing it on full display right now. I mean, it's like drinking 14 cups of coffee when you're running around the bases. Especially late to put your team ahead. And that's why you're seeing all the excitement from Daniel Murphy, who's usually fairly reserved. I can't see enough of it, to be honest with you. I think it's awesome. Talk about the spin, the rotation, where it started, where it ended up.
Michael A. Taylor's done some good pitch watching in this inning. This at bat, 2-2 now with one out.
Anybody else want to hear about that pitch?
Sure. Hey,
Yeah.
Jock.
There's a little slider the pitch before, then he hung a curveball, and I smoked it. Smoked it. This is addictive. Forget the game. Just leave the camera right here.
Michael A. Taylor, this is near the right field corner. And a foul ball deep. Out stays 3-2.
Jocks talk about coming across it and pulling it foul or keeping your hands inside of it. And hitting it straight away.
Runner at second, one out. Up and in. Michael A. Taylor, good at bat. He walks. Second walk of the inning. Nobody throwing for the Mets. Dan Worthen will go out. Or is that Terry Collins going out? So, pardon me, they did have a guy ready. Bullpens are far away. I was looking at the wrong pen. Doolittle ready in the Nats bullpen. And a rough outing for the rookie Jacob Rame. Nats threatening to make the 10th a big inning.
And then just got under it like that, and I kept my elbow close to my ribs. And this is what it looks like with some stat castification all over it. Look at the finish. I love when the bat goes straight out and he runs to first base like he's jousting. 105, 23 degrees. I thought it might be higher than that. And then you get your helmet taken off by Jose. Jose flips it to somebody. Remember when they used to play basketball with it and pass it around? The helmet. One more look at the swing. Curveball. Watch him get underneath it. Fight to get underneath it. That's what he's all about, hitting the air. And he knew as soon as he hit it that it was a tater. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, Tater's a big story in home runs today and tonight. Giancarlo has hit his 57th for Miami at Arizona. Andrew Stevenson up there hacking. Kevin McGowan. First time the Nats will have a look at the 25-year-old from Nashua, New Hampshire. That'll be his 5th appearance for the Mets.
The Zellman's twin brother, huh?
It's an organization thing, evidently. Stevenson a chopper right down the line. He'll be tagged by Dominic Smith, and 2 runners move up. Ed Wieters. Been a long night for him behind the plate. He's worked extremely hard. He got the Nats back even 6 innings ago with a leadoff homer, his 10th in the 5th. Mets employing their 9th pitcher of the night. Great speed out there. Rendon 3rd, Taylor 2nd. Nationals looking for breathing room here. They've got the top of the order up in the 10th. In the dirt, Rendon way down the line, and Matt Wieters has to tell him to hold up.
Rendon walking, thought about it. Sees the ball right there, hits the brakes. Knock would be huge.
And Wieters rolls over that one to Dominic Smith. So the Nats will get that run, the one they needed, off the bat of Daniel Murphy. Straightaway center, 23rd of the year, 90th RBI. Now it's up to Sean Doolittle to nail it down. Lynn did a bunch of things for the Nats with his 200th career home run. He put the Nats into a new stratosphere for team homers with 204. Steven Strasburg will get a no decision, but he pitched well. Daniel Murphy's homer is 23rd in the top of the 10th. Right now, the difference in the game as Sean Doolittle comes up against the top of the Mets order to try to nail this thing down and tie this series. He's trying to make it 20 for 20.
A fastball slider change. Fastball 88% of the time, averaging 94.8 miles an hour. That was Daniel Murphy's first extra inning home run ever.
Wow.
How about that?
Here's Nori Aoki to lead things off. And in his career against Sean Doolittle in the American League, he's 3 for 5 with an RBI. Rendon on alert at third.
So to Dan's point about the quadrants in the fastball being 8 different pitches from Brandon Kintzler, the same kind of applies here for Doolittle. He's thrown 644 fastballs this year. Opponents are 26 for 149 against him for a 174 average against on the heater, and he throws it 88% of the time. Just coming after you. The doctor is in.
Jose Reyes 1 for 4 tonight.
He usually goes fastball up here with 2 strikes. See what they decide on. He likes to elevate.
Way up there, ball 1.
I'm anxious to see Sean in a postseason game. Harness that adrenaline, throw 100. And if we see him, it's a good thing, right?
That means there's a late lead. This one right at Trey Turner, a little in between hop at the end, and a slight jump on the throw. 1 out.
He's a jumping bean. Remember those?
Yep.
Get those things in like grade school, put them on your desk, and they just pop up in the air. Jumping Trey Turner. Nice play.
Jose Reyes this year. Right-handed. That one just about slammed into a very expensive camera down to our left. Reyes right-handed, 270. And again, Sean Doolittle career 1 for 3.
He's swinging at that one up there. If you go joystick video game, right above the Mets logo for the win in this at bat. Like that.
Jammed him. Wieters. And it's just over the screen.
He's swinging at it up there, throwing even higher. Maybe he got a chance, or he could go severe damage on one end.
And he turned one over and went away with it. Beautiful on the changeup. Don't see it a lot. 2 outs.
It's a nice little something to think about for everybody around baseball when Sean Doolittle throws a change. Reyes gearing up, saw a bunch of fastballs around the letters, and then sees one 10 miles an hour slower in the form of a changeup for strike 3. Great pitch.
Veteran matchup here. Last chance for the Mets is Asdrubal Cabrera. 1 for 3 against Doolittle. 0 for 3 with a walk tonight.
Like 6 strikeouts for the bullpen tonight from the 7th inning on.
Nats have not given up a hit since the 3rd inning, Strasburg and the bullpen included. Yeah, that was a pinch hit by Evans. 1 hit since then. And a 1-0. All cutting to the inside half, and Asdrubal didn't like it.
Might have been a changeup that he just pulled across, I think. Another changeup.
Three and one. Well, you know what Cabrera's thinking here.
Thinking grounder to short. That's what he's thinking.
Grounder to LaGuardia, maybe. With that swing, 3 and 2.
So you're supposed to swing 3-1.
Had him lunging, and Cabrera able to foul it back.
By far the most off speed I've seen from Sean in an appearance. I think it's the 4th changeup he's thrown. He usually throws 0 or 1. Maybe he's trying to show scouts that he'll throw it. And you put in the scouting report for the playoffs, and then he just throws you all heaters. Who knows?
And he walks Cabrera with 2 outs. And we'll have a pinch hitter here. This will be the scouting report. Travis Tyrone will be the hitter.
Mike Maddox waiting for time so he can go pinch hitter scouting report.
Saw a little bit of Travis Tyrone when the Mets came to DC. 7 for 40 with a homer, 2 RBIs. 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Matt Reynolds is the pinch runner. Tying run first base, 2 outs in the 10th.
See a lot of late swings on the Sean Doolittle fastball. We've seen it since he's becoming that. Didn't see a whole lot of them when he was in Oakland Athletic because A, other league, B, on the West Coast. We were sleeping by the time he would come into a game.
Did he stop? He didn't. He raised his hand, right?
That's strike.
Strike two, yeah. Kind of a casual call by Chris Siegel.
I think Marty Foster called it. Ooh. Might have caught a break, too.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Nationals trying to win their 93rd game of the year. There it is. Swing and a miss. And Sean Doolittle, as a National, is 20 for 20.
So it's their 93rd win with 8 left. They could still win 100. Big win here tonight at Citi Field. Boys played well. Sean Doolittle doing what Sean Doolittle does best. The doctor getting it done again.
3 hours and 38 minutes, and the Nats are virtually unbeatable. Win 2 of the 3. Kinsler, Matson, and Doolittle pitch, and totally unbeaten when all 3. And that's the case again here tonight. So it'll be Max tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It'll be a rubber game. He'll take on Jacob deGrom in a fantastic pitching matchup. Linda homer, Wieters a homer, Murphy a homer. So 3 times. See you later.